Hi, this is Benjamin Day presenting part 3 of the February Stat Pack. This month we're talking Neighborhood of the Month, and it's Kissing Camels. Here's your beautiful legal disclosure. All right. With some of the pricing information that we have using the Focus First tools, and you can see the little website advertisement for them on each slide below, we're better able to unpack what's actually going on in a marketplace. And if you compare 2012 to 2011, you don't see a lot of substantial differences. Kind of a similar number of units that sold each year, a similar number that were on the market. Carryover, there's a little bit larger months of supply that's sitting on the market right now. But one of the big factors, down at the bottom, you will see that there were 21 failed to sell listings in the calendar year 2011. And in 2012, that number was 8. What happened, part of the reason that there are 17 listings that are on the market right now, is that there's some carryover. There's some old inventory that's in Kissing Camels right now, and there weren't a lot of new and exciting properties that came on the market in 2012. A lot of those that failed to sell in 2011 relisted and came back on the market in 2012. And it should be noted that the odds of selling increased slightly to 40%. If 40% sounds small, it is. The average for the city of Colorado Springs in 2012 was 63.8%. That was the second highest probability of sale that we'd ever seen in the Pikes Peak multiple listing system. But when you consider that the average sales price in Kissing Camels is almost 3 times that of the city's average sales price, 40% is not bad. So when do homes sell in Kissing Camels? Well, definitely between March 15th and the start of October. If you look at 2011 and you compare that to 2012, you'll see that most of the sales occur in that same period of time. 2012 had a little bit earlier buying pattern and a little bit later buying pattern. If you go back to the 2011, what you can see is that the first sales really started on March 15th, and then there was one outlier just at the start of December. 2012, you can see that there were 3 before the start of March and 3 after October 15th. But still, the core there is the spring-summer marketplace. And what you can see in the 2012 buying pattern is a gradual increase in sales price that was occurring in the summer season. Now, how long does something to take? This is variable. And when we say 190 days on average is how long something takes to sell, understand that that's 190 days, and that's the average of all the points that sold. So there were 20 sales in calendar year 2011, and the average time to sell those was 190 days. Some of the other stats for 2011 were that there were 632 sales. The average sales price was $632,000. There were 3 sales that were over $1.2 million. But where there were other sales in between the $600,000 and $1 million price range, the numbers were significantly less. You'll see that there were only 2 sales $800,000 to $1 million, and there were only 2 sales $600,000 to $750,000. Take a look at the difference in 2012. Now, in 2012, the red line's associating where the heart of the market was in 2011. See, the red line there is showing that there were 5 sales there between $400,000 and $600,000 in 2012. Look at how many were there in 2011. That's more than half the market. And that's why the average sales price was lower. Just to review those numbers. Very clever of me, being outsmarted by my keynote. All right, back to the 2012 time to sell. What you'll notice is instead between 600 and 775 that there were significantly more houses. And you'll also notice that the average sales price is up 5.2%. The average time to sell was a bit longer, and there were fewer $1 million sales registered in the MLS. That's not necessarily new construction. There are some units that are going now. It'll be interesting to see if they register in the MLS as closed sales. But there was more activity between 800 and $1 million, and there was a lot more between 600 and 775. And that indicates a broader recovery to the marketplace. So it's not just a fluke that the average sales price went up. If anything, there was less top heaviness to the 2012 sales year, and it was more moderate in gains in all different places. Now, this is probably my personal favorite way of unpacking the market, which shows exactly what's going on in a specific neighborhood. We call this price elasticity. It's easiest if you look at the blue dots, and the blue dots relate to total square footage. And if you see a variety of blue dots all on the axis of a similar square footage, so take a look at 500,000. There are 5 dots that are all there around 500,000. And you will see sales values from $550,000 to $775,000. That's a 55% variance in that cluster of homes. If we start on the lower end of homes, there is an 80% variance among those smaller resale homes from bottom to top and only a 500 square foot difference. If you then look at the two new construction homes that are over on the north side of the golf course that closed last year, those both were over $800,000. And then again, we look at this middle cluster, sort of the heart of the market that represents the average sales price, and there's significant variety in there. And you see these features in custom areas and in Kissing Camels where lots can be so different and views can be moderately spectacular to jaw-dropping depending on where you're located. Those sorts of things can significantly influence value, as can the size of the kitchen, the quality of the kitchen, the amazing master suite, the outdoor living area, all of the rest of the package. But in the Kissing Camels area, you can see that there's significant price elasticity. And on average, it's a 30 to 50% variance within 1 square footage. So this is our prediction for Kissing Camels. We're bullish. Part of that's that Cathedral Ridge is now selling. Sunrise is selling the Garden of the Gods Club, and they've turned it into a profitable venture. So those who would be interested in purchasing it are purchasing something that's presently making a profit. And there's an extremely unique location with relatively low inventory. While there's 12-month supply that's out there, there's not a lot that's distinctive. If you have a quality residence in Kissing Camel, or you know someone who does, if they price it somewhat appropriately, they've got a very good chance of selling it, and selling it for a price that was better than it was a year ago, and probably better than they could have fetched 2 or 3 years ago, because the market is turned and tuned to a remarkable product. The last thing I want to reiterate, and to point out, is that this is a market right now where remarkable locations have a distinct advantage. People who are buying their homes tend to be buying on a 10 to 20 year plan because they look at the 3.5% to 4% interest rates and go, it's never getting better. And so they want to tie up that 3.5% to 4% interest rate on a remarkable piece of dirt. In our assessment, it's harder to find a more remarkable piece of dirt than Kissing Camels. It's one of the most distinctive marketplaces, the most genuinely Colorado Springs areas that you will find in our region. Thanks for viewing.